Yo. So, you read the title right? Yes, money can make you happy. Here's the caveat. It only works to a certain point. But the purpose of this video, and I'll explain that, of course, but kind of the purpose of this video is to smash to smithereens the tired old social trope that we always hear about. Money doesn't make you happy. The best things in life are free. Here's the thing. Some of the best things in life are free, but there's other things too in life that cost money that are also really nice and make you happy. Let's put this into context, shall we? Let's say you are flat broke, like I used to be, right? Before the YouTube channel and the coaching program and all that good stuff. Flat broke. I didn't have enough money to buy a postage stamp. And my mindset was also completely different. I was a hard worker, but it wasn't really going anywhere. I kind of gave up at life. I just sat at home. I went to my corporate job, and then I would come home, sit at home, and I didn't do anything. I would just watch TV, and that was pretty much it. That was my life. And I was always broke all the time. But I gotta tell you something, I was not very happy. Outwardly, I looked that way, and I tried to put up a good front. You know, I was kind of a social butterfly, and I still am, but, you know, that was kind of my thing, is I would try to host monthly get-togethers with my coworkers, and I would text people a lot, and I don't know, I would just try to find ways to, like, cover up that sense of emptiness that I had before my forced spiritual awakening, right? And so I was empty. I was not happy, right? I was very dissatisfied with life, and I didn't have much to show for it either. I didn't have enough money to buy a postage stamp. I lived in just a tiny little one-bedroom apartment. I had a beat-up old piece of crap car, and that was it, you know, and I had nothing, really. And so I was very unhappy. I was very unfulfilled. I didn't have any kind of sense of purpose. I wasn't doing anything. So the awakening happened. I started my coaching program, and I had something of value to offer people. You know, it's not like somebody just handed me the money. I had to work for it. And I worked really hard, and it worked. It worked. Here I am. You know, I've put all this effort into my business. It's got a lot of momentum. Things are going fine. And I'm keeping up with the momentum too, like you're supposed to. So that's all good. So am I happier now? Oh yeah, you bet. You bet I am. What happened? I got the money. Now, there's a whole conversation to be had around money making, which includes things like, are you doing something that you enjoy to make the money? Because there's people who make money and they don't like what they do, and maybe they're not that happy. Maybe they make a lot of money, but they don't really love what they do, and they're always stressed out, and they think they're happy, but they're really not. But they think they're happy for a different reason than what I thought I was happy for 7, 8 years ago. Because if you would have asked me, or if you would have saw me around and the way that I was acting, you probably would have thought that I was this happy-go-lucky guy, right? But I wasn't. I was empty. And my life had no, like, meaning or direction. So there is a whole conversation to be had around what you are doing for the money. Does it bring value to people, and does that give you some kind of purpose in life, right? So that's not disconnected from the money. So I don't know that it's money alone that makes you happy. But to say that money doesn't make you happy is also not true, because what if I was doing what I was doing for free? What if somebody forced me to do what I'm doing, but I don't get any compensation for it? Well, not only is that unethical, right? That's slavery, right? But I'm not going to be happy for that reason. What do I get? I'm doing all this hard work. I mean, I like doing what I'm doing, but what do I get? That's not fair, right? So to say that it's still not about the money, it's about what you do for people, that's still not true either. So it's kind of a lot of things. You see, the ego mind is very, very black and white. It's duality, right? That's where the yin-yang symbol comes from. It explains the mind and the universe that we live in. But this universe of duality, which is mind. The universe is mind. I've talked about that before on this channel. The universe is mental. It is mind. It is the mind of God, really. And, you know, even science is figuring that out. Well, anyway, not to go off on that tangent. I've already talked about that a lot. Maybe I should link a video down below if you want to know what I'm talking about. How about, there's two of them. The first one is science is proving spirituality, or how science is proving spirituality. And I'll post another one down below for you called how the soul works. So watch those two videos. Yes, real conventional science and, you know, big deal scientists, not some little guy that nobody's ever heard of, right? This is the conversation they're having. We think the universe is mind. Okay, so there's that. Anyway, so it's all duality, right? The mind, the universe, all of it. Okay, so the way the ego mind works, your ego mind works, everybody's, is on a system of duality. So plus, minus, good, bad, light, dark. I like it, I don't like it. It's correct, it's incorrect. It's up, it's down. It's hot, it's cold. Also emotions. I feel good, I feel bad, right? Okay. You are consciousness. That's the self beyond the body and the mind, right? So it's consciousness, it's not duality, it's the monad, it's the one, right? It's the oneness. So, because the mind is duality, it is binary, meaning it looks at things that way. Like, well, okay, so if you don't like this one thing, then that means you like this other thing instead. Like, there can't be a third option, right? You ever notice, like, they do that a lot in, like, politics, right? Like, if you voted for this guy, then you hate all these kinds of people. And you're like, wait, no, I don't like that guy, and I don't like this other thing, but I do like these people. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't occur to some people that there could be a third way, or a fourth way, or a fifth way. And the mind likes that. It says, if you're not doing this, then you must be that. That's the way the ego works, and that's how, like, propaganda and politics works too, right? The politicians and the marketers that front for them, they know that's how human psychology works. So that's why they get people to, that's how they get people to fight, right? If you're not blue, then you're red. Well, no, I'm not either of those, right? So that's how the ego works. So the ego is going to say it's all the way this or it's all the way that. It's either money is always good or money is always bad, or money can never make you happy or money does make you happy. And if you believe that money makes you happy, you're bad. There can't be any kind of a third option or any kind of, like, higher reasoning behind that, or kind of logic. Like, why would we be entertaining this notion? that money could make you happy. Clearly, money never makes you happy. It's either all the way yes or all the way no. There's no in between. Yep, that's the way the ego thinks about things, and that's just not true. Can money make you happy? Yeah, because if I'm doing something I want to do and I enjoy myself while I'm doing it, it's something that I would enjoy doing while I'm doing it. Will I enjoy it or my life in general if I'm not getting money for it? Well, maybe. I don't know. Like, it depends. Like, everything is not black and white. That's what I'm telling you, right? Some things maybe, I guess. Like, I don't know, lying and stealing. You can't do that. All right. I guess you can, but you shouldn't. There's a conversation about shoulds, which are all going to center around what serves you. It's not that there's some rule of the universe that says, you can't do this, you can't lie and steal. Well, you can, but you shouldn't. Well, what measure do we use to decide what we should or shouldn't do in life? Well, probably the best measure we have is to look at, does this serve me or not? Does it serve the greater good of society or not? That is what is to decide. But when it comes down to money, even though you have a hobby that you're doing, like me, I just went on a hike, right? I just went hiking. I'm driving back down now. I'm in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, right? I just went hiking, and that's what I like to do. I like to go for drives, road trips. I like to go hiking. You know, I like to go to the beach too. You know, I like to do all kinds of things. And do I get money for it? No. Well, actually, it costs money. I mean, hiking is not that expensive. It's just a few dollars in gasoline to drive up here, right? But I don't make money doing it. Or what if I did charity work? Well, that's charity work. Should you do charity work? Well, I don't know. Should you? Do you got time for it? Are there other ways to help those less fortunate than you, right? So these are all value judgments. These are all moral questions that people could ask you. But what I'm saying is, you know, money itself is just a piece of paper. And whether or not that's going to make you happy depends on these other variables. What are you doing? Because you could be doing charity work, but if you live in a shack and you don't have any source of income either, then you're somebody who needs charity too. So what's the point of doing charity work if I'm destitute? Right? Like, you could have somebody shaming you and guilt tripping you because you think you need money. Well, I need to eat and have a place to live and stuff. I mean, come on, right? So you could be making money and doing charity, or you could not be doing charity and making money. I guess that's just your own personal value judgment. That's your own moral value judgment about what you should or shouldn't do, right? So there is that word again, should, right? Should you or shouldn't you? Well, what serves you? But to say that money doesn't make you happy, that's not true. Because again, if whatever I'm doing for income, somebody just comes along and says, oh, well, you can't do that. You can't take money for that. I'm going to take away your income. Well, that's going to piss you off. And if you're destitute, if you don't have the money to buy a postage stamp like I used to, if you don't have the money, then are you going to be happy? Think about it. I just went hiking. I'm enjoying myself. I get to do the things I want to do. Am I satisfied with life? And there's another trigger word, happy, right? Because to believe that you can be in this perpetual state of happiness, is that true? Is that attainable? Can you be in a perpetual state of happiness? No. So anytime somebody tries to sell you happiness, ultimately, you know, if they really believe that they can do that, maybe question that person. Now, satisfied, that's a better word, I think. Can you be overall satisfied in your life? Sure you can. And without money, are you going to be satisfied? If you're so destitute that you're always struggling to just get groceries, are you going to be satisfied in life? Of course not. You're going to be very unhappy and unsatisfied. So to say that money doesn't make you happy, it's just not true. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is true to a point. To a point. Because if you're making, I don't know, $750 million a year, is getting more money after that, is going for the billion. Like, you're already making $750 million in a year, and you're so money crazed that you're like, I gotta get to $1 billion, that it's driving you crazy. And those people might think they're doing what is fulfilling to them, but are they? Because somebody like that, it's like they can never be satisfied. But again, somebody else who's making $750 million a year, maybe they are satisfied. And that's not why they make the money. Why are you making the money? Why are you doing that? What is it that is fulfilling about it to you? That's the question here. Can money make you happy? Well, yeah, and without it, if I was doing the same thing I'm doing now, I would be pretty pissed, because you're forcing me to do something and I don't get anything for it. But also, when I have the money, where is that line drawn? That's up to you, you guys. Again, the ego is binary. People are going to try to play binary arguments to try to control you and get you to agree with them and think the way they think. That's essentially what a lot of people want when they gaslight you about that kind of stuff. They don't want anything tangible from you. They just want you to like validate them and say that they're okay and that you agree with them and that they're right and you should listen to them. That's what they want, which is kind of pointless, because it's like, that's not producing anything. But the fact is, money does make you happy to a point, because even if you're doing what you love, at some point, what if you make so much money and then you lose sight of doing it for what you love, right? And now it's just all about the money. I mean, maybe that's the point that we're going crazy town, because now I'm miserable and it's never enough. And I can't be made more satisfied, happy, right? Satisfied is a better word, but you know, we could, I guess, say happy if we understand the context here. But you can never be satisfied because it's never enough. I gotta have more money, and you've got all these mansions and all this stuff, and you're still empty, you're still unhappy, right? Now, what is it that we could use as an internal guidance system? What is it that we could use as an internal guidance system? How about remembering who you are as a spiritual being beyond the body and beyond the mind? It's always got to come back to that, you guys. All the time. All the time. You're a soul, and if you go an infinite number of layers deeper, right, you are the source. You are even beyond just a fragment of the whole, W-H-O-L-E, whole, right? The whole being the all, God, source, right? When technically source is part of what we would call God, or the all. You got the source, which is the ultimate infinite consciousness. Then you've got what Greg Braden calls the divine matrix, science calls the mental universe. Actually, Hermes Trismegistus called it the mental universe, right? So, which is the mind of God, or the all. And then you've got the physical component, which is the stars, the planets, right? So it's just like you, body, mind, soul, right? Works the same way. But you are that. You are bigger than you think. And who you are beyond your own body and mind is this consciousness, which is not thinking or analyzing or trying to understand me right now, or feeling emotions. It's none of those. You can't figure out what that is, but you experience it. And the way you experience it is to go beyond this figure of speech. You experience it. Because to say you experience it, there is a subject-object relationship there. You and it. The fact is, it is the real you. The you who, at the onset, would be trying to experience it is actually the ego mind. So this is the great riddle of the seeker, that all the great spiritual masters, they're gonna point this out to you at some point. Yeah, you should begin your seeking of spiritual truth, but when you find it, you're gonna realize I'm the it. There's no me who was seeking. I was never the seeker, right? And this is, I mean, all of my law of attraction students, you guys, if you're done with the twin flame journey, sign up for my manifesting program. Seriously, it's the only next thing that you could possibly be doing. So what I tell them, looks like we got some construction going on here. I might be sitting here for a while. What I tell them is 80 to 90% of your manifesting game is your Zen game. Your Zen game. And it's true, because the ego can never be made to be satisfied, fully satisfied, by just acquiring things alone. So it's the prime mover of self, that this conscious being that you are, beyond the body and mind, that brings that satisfaction to whatever you're doing to make the money, and then to go out and spend it and do all the wonderful things that you can do with money and have food to eat and a nice place to live, which does fulfill you. It is satisfying to do that to a point. To a point. Remember that. Because again, once you get to that level where you're like, I already got $750 million, and if I don't get to $1 billion, I'm going to go nuts. There's probably a problem. There's probably a problem there. So that's the deal. That's the spiel. It's not black and white. Can money make you happy? It's not a hard yes or a no answer. You guys, and almost nothing in life is. Some things, sure, but not all things. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you later.